Good morning and welcome to Mrs. Bell's Sweet Treats and More. Today is Monday and this is Monday Moments. Today we are going to make a delicious treat, another one. I hope you had an opportunity to taste the apple bread and the raspberry bars and the zucchini bread. Today we're going to make strawberry chewy brownies. Okay, they're not chocolate, they are strictly strawberry. They are delicious, chewy like a brownie, and all strawberry. The recipe is very simple. I've been making this for a few years now, and I found it from a friend. It's strawberry cake mix, and I use, for any of the cooking that I use, I tend to only use Duncan Hines unless I can't find it. And then I use what is on sale or the better older cake mixes like Betty Crocker. So today we're going to make strawberry brownies, which are not brown. I hope you enjoy your time with me today, and we're going to get started. Well, hello, we are back, and we're about to get started. The recipe is going to call for a sturdy hand mixer. I'm going to use my KitchenAid. You can certainly do this by hand, which I have done. It is a very thick batter that it'll make, so you may prefer to use a hand mixer or a KitchenAid if you have it. I certainly have made them. They have come out successfully with hand, but it is very hard to get it moving. So let's get started. I use the Duncan Hines, as I mentioned before. There's a strawberry supreme or there's just regular strawberry. You want to be sure you don't get the mix with the pudding in it. We don't want the pudding in it. So we get the regular strawberry supreme. Duncan Hines preferred, but Betty Crocker and some of the other brands are good as well. I cut my package already, and I just pour it into my KitchenAid bowl. And you can already smell the strawberry. I like this particular recipe. Okay, bring my mixer over. And then I add 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. You can certainly use canola oil. And as I told you before, I use brown eggs, but you can certainly use white eggs. I often rinse my eggs as well. I know that eggs are pasteurized and food processing, but oftentimes when I have eggs, I notice that there's a little egg dropping, and then it's the handling of the eggs. So I just rinse my eggs off and pat them dry. You can certainly just use them. And then I like to crack them separate because sometimes I'm older. So we've had occasions where there have been rotten eggs, and I've only had probably 4 in my life, but you don't want to be in the middle of mixing your food and finding that the egg is rotten and you've already put it in. There's no taking out at that point. So I put my eggs in, and I'm going to turn this on low, and I'm not going to go very long with it. I just want to get it mixed till it's all damp. I'm not trying to whip up a cake. I also add about a half a teaspoon, about half of this, of vanilla. And I let that mix just until it's damp. No biggie. And you're going to make sure you scrape down because we don't want anything on the bottom or the side that doesn't get mixed in with all that ingredient. So projectile. I made this for my daughters, and when it smells so good. Okay, just a little bit of mixing, just a little bit, and it's done. I use an 8x8 or a 9x9 pan. You can certainly use any pan you have. I like the squarer pan because you get those corners that are more chewy. Some people like that. I'm one of those people. But you can certainly make it in a circle pan. And there's a recipe that's made also with butter instead, or margarine, whatever you have on hand. When I say butter, unless I say it's got to have butter, you can certainly use margarine. I'm going to flip this up and take my batter out. And you'll notice it is very thick. So I'll be back with you while I scrape this off. Okay, the batter is very thick, so I want you to be aware of that. You're not trying to make a pouring batter. It's going to be thick. And here's what it looks like. You see how thick it is? So I'm going to scrape it out and put it in my prepared 8x8 pan today. And my oven's on 350 preheating, so it'll be ready when we get this out. Okay? Smells so good. You know, when you're baking, it can bring back memories or it can create new ones. I love to be in the kitchen with friends or with my daughters because I think one of my favorite times is holidays because everybody gets in the kitchen. Now, of course, my children didn't always know how to cook and they had to learn, but the joy of it was sitting in there watching them working through things. When you're in the kitchen, find your piece of kitchen. What is it you like to do? Well, I don't know what I like to do. Well, what is a treat you like? Why don't you Google that? Google a treat that you like and maybe how to cook it. That was one of the things I discovered when Google arrived. Trust me, Google was not there in the 50s. It wasn't there in the 60s. It wasn't there in the 70s. It wasn't like it was in the 80s. So you had to figure it out. And then there are the copycat recipes. Oh, you've got to try copycats. How to make this, how to make that. It's not the actual recipe, it's the I kind of like. So here's my I'm trying not to bother this too much, but I have. Because yeah, that smells so good. So here's my pan. Here are my Chewies, strawberry Chewies. We're going to put it in the oven for about 15 minutes or so. You don't want it setting hard. It's going to be a teeny bit tan on the top, but then you'll know it's ready. It's not going to, it kind of reminds you of a giant chewy cookie, but it's not hard. So we'll be back in a few minutes and we're going to work on the frosting. Well, our strawberry chewy is in the oven and we're going to work on the topping. I don't use frosting, for this, but you certainly can use if you have some vanilla or maybe even chocolate frosting around, you might want to try it on your strawberry chewy. I'm going to just use regular confectioner sugar. Confectioner sugar is sugar with cornstarch in it that's you can buy in the store. It's also called powdered sugar, but it's mostly used in frostings, but you can certainly make frostings with other sugars or honey, or so it's not limited. So I have a cup of confectioner sugar here, and I'm adding milk to it. When you add liquid to confectioner sugar, powdered sugar, it's very important to add it slowly, unless you know your recipe, of which I have discovered that you can know your recipe and get the numbers wrong, and here you go, you got a mess. So I'm adding a little bit. I have a couple tablespoons of milk, but I'm only going to add it real slowly to my powdered sugar. And as you can see, the powdered sugar, when you add just a tiny bit, it starts, the powdered sugar actually starts going into the milk, and it's rather quick. So that's why you don't want to add it too fast, because too fast means you got to add more powdered sugar later. if it's too thin. So I'm adding again very slowly. And the other thing is that I like to add a little bit of vanilla. You certainly don't have to do that, but sometimes when you're putting just because this isn't really a frosting, it's kind of a topping. When you're putting something on top of something, you don't want it to taste like just sugar. You want it to have a flavor of its own. You want to do layering type. Layering means that the flavors are not just one. You ever had chicken that just had salt on it? Certainly it can be very good. But if you like pepper and you add pepper, it seems to change it. And if you season the chicken before you put it into the flour and then you season the flour, you have got layering. So your food is not just the salt flavor, it starts picking up the background. So I'm adding a little more milk. And again, you don't have to add anything or frosting for this. It is strictly up to you. I'm going to put a glaze on it. I don't want it to be too much. And I'm going to tell you a secret I found out after we take it out the oven. It certainly smells good in this kitchen. Tiny bit more. See, I still have milk left over. I didn't need to use all of that. And this is what it's starting to look like. Okay. That's about done. And then I just drizzle it when it comes out, and it can probably get a little thinner. But we will be back when I pull the strawberry chewies out the oven. See you in a few minutes. Well, our strawberry chewy is out of the oven. It has cooled for a few minutes, and I want you to take a look at it. This is what it looks like, and it smells so good. It smells so good. So I'm just going to take it out of the pan. I'm going to do a quick flip. That is my desire. However, let me just do it this way. And then I flip it onto my parchment. And then onto my plate. It could have been done better. Yeah, it could have. So this is what it looks like. Sorry. It is on my plate. This is my chewy, strawberry chewy. Now I take the topping that we made with the confectioner, sugar, vanilla, and a little bit of milk, and I just do a little drizzle. I use the parchment paper to catch the drizzle, so it's not all over the plate. And I just go across it, it's nothing really fancy. I just try to get a little on all the corners. And I don't want it too thick because the chewy is by itself, good by itself. This just adds a little glaze, and then it'll look, I think, kind of cleary. Just looks like a little clear topping. Because the chewy is still warm, so it'll look kind of transparent. So it's a delicious treat. Now I also take strawberry, and if you want to garnish it, you certainly can. I'm using when I take things out of the oven, I tend to try to preserve my pans and use plastic instead of metal against metal. So then you can take a strawberry and just kind of sit it on top. It certainly don't have to do what I'm doing. I just want to add a little bit of strawberry in the middle. And This is our strawberry chewy. I hope you get to try it. It is chewy. It's like eating it's the texture of a brownie or chewy bread. We will do chewy bread. I lived in the South for a minute. And in the South, they have this delicious treat. It's caramely and chewy, but it's called chewy bread. It's not bread. It is a delicious chewy treat. So this is our strawberry chewy. We will also do a blimini, which is made with lemon. And we will also do chewy bread. I want you to let me know how you like the recipe. And I'd like for you to try it. Together we can do this. This is just a few ingredients. And if you don't like the strawberry, if you don't have a preference, why don't you try another flavor and let us know how you like it. You can follow the recipe the same. The blimini, which is what I make, which is a brownie chewy lemon, which is not a brownie, it's a chewy lemon, but I call it a blimini. And it's a little bit different. The recipe is a little bit different. But certainly try maybe orange, try another flavor, maybe try pineapple, I don't know. But whatever you try, let us know. Let us know how you like it, and let me know about this. We have some other recipes. I love to cook. I love to cook different things. And sometimes it's a little intimidating when I started, but I started becoming more comfortable when I could do one thing. And then I started thinking, if it works that way, like frying chicken, you fry chicken one way, and then you learn that, you know what, I wonder what fish would do there, or frying pork chops would do there, and how would, so you're not limited. Once you open your eyes to doing, it just opens creativity that you didn't know you had. Together we can do this. Let me know what you think, and we'll talk again next time. Have a great week. Bye-bye.